I think I found the absolute best gift for your father-in-law.
And Mr. Lee, I think you're going to be really pleased. Oh my God.
Hi.
This is a sharp 52-inch Aquos Quadrant TV with state-of-the-art 3D technology that makes Avatar look avatarded.
I don't know, hasn't the whole 3D thing jumped the shark by now?
No, Mr. Lee, you don't understand. This is the best 3D you've ever seen. It's gonna be amazing!
Who are you looking at?
Hello everybody and welcome to another disaster-ridden, building collapsing adventure of defending my collection, the 3D movies. The 3D movies, yes, the series of videos where I go through my entire video Blu-ray. Boy, I'm off today. All right, this should be a fun one. Bluray Collection, and show off what I have, and we are at the end. Oh, we're at the very end of the 3D Blu-ray collection. We are doing the U's through the Z's, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, because I don't have that many, and it looks like I got maybe 13, 14 movies that consist in that alphabet range. And yeah, it's about that time to come to an end. We're so glad we had this time together. Pull it on my ear. Stop pulling on my ear, Carol. This is the final episode of Defending My Collection, the 3D Blu-ray movies. Though I will have an epilogue episode, which will be following possibly next week, hopefully next week, where which is going to be kind of a surprise. It's just kind of a fun, hey, let's think about it and let's see what we can talk about type of episode. I was actually looking on the Bluray.com forum, the 3D section. Everybody go over there, check out, join the conversation. And I, not that I just noticed, but I had noticed many months ago a forum topic that dealt, a little hint, that deals with what the final epilogue video will be. That's all I'll say. And those of you who are members of the 3dbluray.com forum probably can guess what the next one will be. But if not, you will join in next week and see what that's all about. But like I said, I'm a little off. It's late in the afternoon. I was planning on doing this like around 11 noonish. It's a Thursday afternoon. It is the 19th of May. It's a beautiful day. I spent the morning, like you people want to even know this stuff. I spent the morning going out. I went shopping. I ran a bunch of errands. I bought lots of goodies for today. And I actually, when I got home, I kind of got some bad news, which I'm not going to go into. Not real bad news, but just kind of like, And I decided to put aside the making of this video. And the last couple hours, I've been watching Continuum. I started on that show again, mainlining it. I'm about 4 episodes into season 2. Freaking love the show. For those of you who haven't watched Continuum, and like time travel type of shows and police procedural shows, definitely check it out. I got hooked around the end of the second and then watching the third and the final 4th season, which I was so glad they came to an end. They brought it all to an end. I hate when television shows are canceled and there's no... Why am I talking? This is the 3D Blu-ray video. Anyway, I'm watching Continuum, and I just finished the one episode, and I'm like, you know, let's do it. Let's just go and make the final video, go through the final movies, because maybe I won't be here tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway. So, for those new viewers that have just stumbled onto this video and don't know what's going on, if you look back, I have over 20 other videos where I go through my collection. I just did that. And talk about every little movie that's in my collection that's on Blu-ray, and I give a little snippet here and there, or a little story of when I seen them, what I think of them, in the 3D sections here. You don't have to have a 3D set. This is still a continuation of movies I have in my collection and what I think of the movies themselves. But I do also give a sidebar review of what I think the 3D, how I think the 3D is in the movie, at least in my eyes, because everybody's eyes are different. Everybody might have a 3D television. In some movies they go, nah, it wasn't good, and I'll go, boy, that was fantastic. So everybody's eyes are different. Everybody, you know. Yeah, I guess that's it. If you're new, like I said, and you enjoy this video, I'm going to say this at the end probably too. Subscribe, like, and tell your friends, tell your granny, tell your cousin Ralph to tune in and watch. And old pedophile Herbert. Oh, Herbert, yes, watch Roger. He told us about movies. Family Guy ref, but I can't even do that well. I've been watching, that belongs in a vlog. I've been watching tons of YouTube stuff and coming across a lot of great new channels. And I just experienced the new, I'm not even going to get into it. Never mind. Okay, let's go to their first movie. Oh my gosh. All right. This first one is an IMAX film. It is one of the very first Blu-ray 3D discs sets that I got. Very first 3D Blu-rays that I bought because I heard so much great stuff about it. And not only that, it was one of those situations where it's like, well, you know, one of the very, other than the 80s movies and going to the Universal Studios and seeing the T3 3D presentation, and then How I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids presentation, which I thought was really great in those amusement parks. It was pre-Spider-Man, so it was before then. I was like, wow, IMAX really knows what they're doing. And a couple of years before then, I remember being at Six Flags Great America here in Illinois, in Gurney, put him on the gurney and bring him into the operation room. Okay, nurse, yeah. I saw this IMAX 3D movie, and it was spectacular. It was the best 3D I had ever seen. So in my mind, always, it's like, well, when IMAX puts together a 3D documentary, it's a must-have, it's a must-watch type of thing. And this was IMAX, and it was, like I said, one of the very first Blu-ray 3Ds that I got. And I am so glad I got it. I've watched it a whole bunch of times. And I just want to verify who narrates this because it kind of, why wouldn't they, oh, here, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey narrates this. And it's not goofy Jim Carrey, it's serious Jim Carrey. Anyway, I'm talking about Under the Sea, you will have fun, under the sea. I've seen Little Mermaid maybe 4 times. I don't know the songs that well, but I know Under the Sea is one of those famous ones. And so anyway, yeah, here we go. Nice, cool, lenticulous cover. This disc is a must-have for everybody. Wow, my camera's a little off. I guess I got to move over here to be centered. This movie is a must-have if you have a 3D television and you can view the 3D presentation. It's pretty freaking amazing. On the forums, everybody talks about how this is one of the best ones to get. There is one. There's lots of great imagery and great depth and great pop out but this is famous for a famous, well, this is famous for a famous, this is famous for a one shot of a, what is it, a codfish, I believe? One of these ugly looking things, and ugly looking pieces of nature that have been created on our earth. And snow cod? Potato cod. It's a potato cod. I had it ready just so I knew to talk to you in case I forgot it, which I did. A potato cod fish that comes towards the camera and exceeds the viewing screen of your television and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going right in your face. It is freaking fantastic, man. If you can see 3D and have a 3D setup, definitely get this movie. Just for that one scene. It's definitely demo material. There's not much in it. It's an early one without a cheapo eco. It's a real case, one disc. Jim Carrey narrates it, and I tell you, man, some of the stuff that some of the undersea creatures, I was going to say fish, that are spotlighted near the end of this when they go deep, 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 deep. The illuminated fishes, creatures, and things are pretty amazing to behold. So yeah, if you see this is a must-have in your 3D collection when you get a 3D collection. This was a blind buy. I had seen the trailer for the very, very first movie, and I refused to watch it because it just looked really bad. The CGI looked kind of bad, and it looked very Matrixy, like wannabe-like. And I had heard that there's a pretty big fan base. There's a lot of people that like the series, and like her, Kate Beckinsale in the role. I don't know if she's been in all of them, but she's in this one. And just because this was in 3D, I decided to pick it up. It wasn't a full price, but I did pick it up. I'm talking about Underworld Awakening. Awakening. And there's a nice lenticular cover. It's the vampires against the werewolves. Is there something on my lens, or is that on my view screen? Hold on, I'm just checking here. Oh, that was a spot on my view screen. Okay. Anyway, yeah, and it's pretty much what I expected. The CGI is not the best. It's action-packed. The 3D is pretty adequate. There's moments in here. But being that I had not seen all the other movies before this, I was a little lost in the story. But it was still very entertaining. Got the lenticular slipcover. Comes in a clear case. I believe that's because it was one of the early 3D Blu-rays that came out. Comes with some tchotchkes in that. Here's the inside. It's a not-so-cheapo eco case that isn't fully cheapo eco, but it's not so cheapo eco. That's when there are no definite prominent holes in the case. It's just a thinner, parts of it are thinner plastic. You guys have been with me for the beginning. You know what I mean by cheapo eco and not so cheapo eco. So I'm not gonna, and here's the back. I don't know. I've been reading a lot also in the forums and about other people, other discs, and watching other videos on YouTube. And I realized that there are a lot of movies that are out of print, being like Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King and things like that, especially the 3D Diamond editions, the big ones. And they're worth very, very big bucks. Very, very big bucks. And that is kind of one of the advantages why you want to pick them up as soon as you can. Lately, I've tend to be kind of like, well, I'll just wait for the price to come down. Like, I haven't picked up Goosebumps yet. So when I do eventually get around to that, I'll probably miss out on getting the slipcover. I haven't picked up, well, other movies, But me, because I'm such a 3D fan, I seem to gravitate more to picking up the 3D movies when they come out first, and the regular basic Blu-ray movies secondary. You know, I can wait for The Revenant to come down in price. I can wait for you know, Stand By Me. Instead of paying $20 for it, I'll wait till it gets down to $4.99, $7.99, then I'll pick it up. True, you don't get the slipcover. True, you don't get the special steelbook if there is one or anything like that. But if I am going to pick them up, they're movies that I want in my collection. That packaging just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Packaging in general doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have a nice lenticular cover on the 3D movies. So I kind of usually gravitate to getting those first, knowing that 3D is very scarce. Knowing that 3D is pretty scarce, although I don't think it's going away yet, and I don't want to get into that commentary yet at all. Really, because there's so much on the web about it. There's so much contradiction about whether it's going away, whether it's worth it. But if you just look at the listings of movies being released theatrically this year, we're very close to 50 movies in 3D alone. Whether or not the studios themselves will be releasing them on the home media of Blu-ray in 3D is a whole nother question. But we also have the European imports we can always pick up, because 3D is very big and very strong in China and other countries. They love the 3D. And again, I said I wasn't going to get into this, but I think if you want to say the death of how the end of 3D of this era had come around, it's because Hollywood and the studios just didn't want to give it a chance and push the boundaries of how 3D can be. They didn't want to break that fourth wall, as it were, and come out of the screen. Everything was window boxed. Everything is behind. Even if you watch something like, I believe, the new Captain America movie, everything is like you're looking through a window. Very, very little comes out of the screen, a la the Sammy movies, or the Drive Angry, or My Bloody Valentine, things like that. Or any of the IMAX movies, which come right out at you. I think if Hollywood would put in mind when they're either converting or filming these movies in 3D, and they had that thought that, well, this would be cool to have come right out, or have the separation so far apart, really well done. Take an example. I have not seen it yet, but there's a movie called I believe it's called Gods of Egypt, that's coming out very soon. It's one of these medieval mythical movies that I heard nothing but terrible, horrible reviews on. And I've read in the forums that people who have seen that movie in the theater said the 3D is pretty damn spectacular. So I can't wait to get the movie because when it does come out, because I've heard that it does expand the screen. You know, it's like you accept the great of the 3D, but the story is not there. It's like the 300 movie I talked about in the last video, the sequel to 300, the depth, or the Sin City, A Dame to Die For, or whatever it's called. The 3D was pretty damn spectacular, but people just didn't like the movie. So are the studios looking at, well, the movie didn't do good because the 3D sucked, and we're not going to make any more 3D, or what? I don't know. I'm going on a tangent, and I'm getting off my box now. I don't even remember buying this movie. I think this was one of those movies that I heard was in 3D. I had seen just the original back in the day, in the 80s, I believe, when it originally came out, and I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. I have yet to pick that movie up on Blu-ray. I believe there are a number of sequels. This final one was actually done in 3D or converted in 3D. And just seeing it now, I'm like, I don't remember watching this. Maybe I did one super late night and totally forgot about it. but it is in 3D, and it is a steelbook. I was able to get the steelbook. I don't know if this is an import or what, but it's the Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning. And there's the steelbook, which is pretty nice. There we go. And it's a 2-disc set with some artwork back here, which I'm not going to pull the discs out to show you. But I'm looking now, and it looks like it was an import because it's got the ratings on there. Studio Canal. There's got the 3D version and the Blu-ray version. Probably one of these. Oh, that's cold on the forehead. One of these movies I'm going to have to revisit because I don't remember much about it. But yeah, I'm sure there's lots of great fighting in here in 3D. Here's another IMAX flick that I picked up. You can get this real cheap. I've seen this $9.99 at places, Best Buy and stuff. And it is just visually entertaining. You know, it's one of those little documentaries. But the 3D is IMAX, beautiful. It's the Ultimate Wave Tahiti 3D. The Ultimate Wave Tahiti, yeah. Featuring the all-time champion, 10-time world champion Kelly Slater, who I'm sure is a great surfer. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, you can pick this up if you're if you don't have it in your collection yet. It's a not so cheapo eco, but it's a 1-disc set, and it's in my collection because it's IMAX, and I pretty much pick up all the IMAXs because they are done right. This was one of those first ones. I've mentioned, I forgot the napkins, the tissues. Excuse my sniffling and nose wiping with my fist and wiping it in my shirt. Yeah, how can he do that? I don't know, but he's doing it. Oh, I don't want to watch him do that. It's disgusting. Tell him to get a napkin. Oh, or a tissue. I don't know. It's turning out to be pretty fun. Yeah, this is when Disney was taking great care and really, really were pushing 3D and appreciating the presentation of 3D. It's a Pixar movie that was converted years later, and they brought it back to the theater, just like Finding Nemo and Lion King and Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. We're talking about the Pixar movie Up, which I think was originally 3D when it originally came out at the theaters. Maybe not everywhere, not wide, but possibly just on IMAX screens. Kind of like when Polar Express came out. That was strictly IMAX presentation, 3D, but if you saw it in regular theaters, it was just flat. But again, I talk about Disney 3D, those diamond editions, they're heavy. They got such weight on here. And I got the slip cover. And it's got a 5-disc set, DVDs, Blu-rays, 3D. Yeah, the 3D was kind of disappointing in this for me. I mean, I've seen the movie before I picked up this version of it, and the thought of the house with all the balloons and flying through the sky and all that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I mean, the cliffs and everything are really kind of cool, but I thought it should have been just, if there's a crank, and you turn it up to 10 or 11, goes to 11. If it was, I would say this was about a 7, and it should have been pushed up more to a 9 or 10 to get that extra depth, but it's in the collection. I don't know if it's out of print or not, but boy, it's sure heavy. This was a blind buy. I picked it up knowing it's 3D. I knew nothing of this movie. When I heard it was coming out on 3D Blu-ray, I checked out the trailer and I was like, wow, what an interesting concept for a movie. And it probably would look really good in 3D. And I'm talking about Jim Sturgis and Kirsten Dunst in Upside Down. Upside Down with the slipcover. Yeah, it's a very unique love story about two worlds that are very close. There's a connection, and you have the wealthy people and the poor people, and these two unusual these two people from both worlds meet, and they kind of meet sometimes in the middle. But the effects are pretty decent, like especially when the character's going to the other world and there's the different gravitational pulls. You know, he'll walk up a staircase and then flip and then walk down the staircase because he's in another gravitation. And then, of course, we turn around and we watch that. Or when they're pouring a drink, they put the glass upside down and pour the drink so it goes up. Really kind of unique little sci-fi love story type of deal. I am really off. Why am I off? Let me turn the camera. No, it's got to go that way more probably. There we go. To where I'm sitting. But yeah, it's a pretty damn cool film. The 3D really works in it, I thought. It's not spectacular. I should have came up. It's the last video, and I should have came up with like a 1 through 10. I would say this is about a 6, maybe a 6 or a 7. One scene in particular I really, really liked. It's got the Blu-ray and the 3D Blu-ray in there, or is that a DVD? Oh, it's a DVD. There's a pretty back there. As you see, the characters meet here. You know, the gravitation is pulling her back so she can lay against this block, and he could stand because the gravitation from this point down is his gravity, and you know it's really beautiful. I love the one shot where they meet at one point between in that area where there's that alcove, and they embrace each other and they start kissing, and they're both in like the middle of the gravitation, and they're both like spinning around each other as they're kissing, and they're just floating there. I thought it was very, very unique, very beautiful, really nice, really, really nice. This one I heard a lot of great stuff of, and I had to import it. Goes by a bunch of different names. The trailer looked pretty damn fantastic. The trailer reminded me of a Terry Gilliam film in a little bit, and it also reminded me of a Harryhausen film for a bit. Reminded me of a lot of things. It looked like it had a lot of great special effects, and knowing that it was 3D, it was like, okay. And I remember reading some early reviews on the 3D forums, Blu-ray.com, 3D forums, and I heard some good things, so I imported it. In America, it's just called VI, V-I-Y, I believe, or maybe just V-Y. This is a German import called First der Dämon 3D. I'll just show you that. The cover that I got from Germany, I believe. All right. Comes with the slipcover. It's in English. Got some other little tchotchkes there. Yeah, it's a 2-disc. Tchotchkes advertising movies. Pretty much a special effect extravaganza here, and the 3D works beautifully in this. It's kind of a tale of a witch. I believe she's a witch that dies, and there is a gentleman that has to watch over her body over the night. And of course, all kind of crazy stuff happens, and she gets out, and all kind of special effects ensue. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Even in 2D, if you get a chance to see Vi, or whatever it's called here. Do they give any names of who's in this? Yes, but super small. Gosh, I can't even read that. Jason Fleming. Charles Zant, maybe? Oh, God, I can't read it. Look for a movie starring... Gosh, I don't even know if that's even Jason. Just look for Vi, V-I-Y. And if it's a medieval thing with little creatures running around and people turning into monsters, that's the right movie. But if you have 3D, please import this. It's worth the import. The 3D is I thought pretty spectacular in this. This was a super cheapie, and I just decided, well, I'm just going to buy it because it looks interesting, and the concept of the idea that Hitler and the Germans during World War II actually used 3D photography to look at locations they were planning on attacking and things like that. And apparently the people who put this documentary had uncovered a plethora of photographs taken during World War II that were in 3D. And it's World War II in 3D. It's a very cheap disc. You can get this maybe $5 now. It's pretty amazing. I mean, some of the photographs, you see these huge crowd of photographs with Hitler in the car, in the foreground. But you could see, because they were taken with 3D cameras, you can see every person in that crowd. And if the focus, which a lot of times is perfect, you could see people way in the distance, which I'm going to talk about another movie which they converted, which that works spectacularly. But anyway, I got it in the collection, World War II 3D. This is pretty recent. I believe this came out last year. It was nominated for an Academy Award. I really enjoyed it just for the story alone. I remember seeing the documentary based on this character and this situation, this storyline, years before. I believe that documentary was nominated for an Oscar. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt decided to recreate the situation, and Robert Zemeckis directed the movie called The Walk, which is a lenticular cover 3D movie of the Frenchman who decided to walk across the World Trade Center when it was still standing. The 3D is pretty damn spectacular. Again, I would have to say, a lot of those shots where he's on the high wire over the buildings are pretty dizzying. The movie itself is very fun. It moves very swiftly. It, like I said, it's fun. It really is. It's kind of like a mystery heist film where they got to sneak up there and set everything up and try to hide from the cops and do this thing. And it's also very bittersweet knowing the history of New York and what happened on 9/11 and knowing that they're not there anymore. And so it's fun. It's adventurous. The 3D is pretty damn great in it. And it's also very bittersweet. So that's all I'll say on that. Another little documentary that came out. I don't believe this is an IMAX film. I think this is just one of those that possibly played in IMAX. But it was a little documentary that they did because dinosaurs were big at one point. I guess they still are. Not as much with Jurassic World, but boy, after Jurassic Park came out, there were a lot of documentaries on dinosaurs, and the kids loved them and wanted to get everything. So anyway, this is Walking with the Dinosaurs in 3D, the movie. Non-lenticular, just a basic flat cover with some stickers I got to remove eventually. That's right, I was going to do a whole new now that I got the tripod. 2 discs. You got the 3D Blu-ray, and you got a DVD and a digital copy. And it's a pretty adequate dinosaur documentary. I believe there was some CGI in here that I don't think in this one was very good. I think the other one was a little better. But again, I don't remember. Picked it up, watched it once, put it up on the shelf. There it had sat all this time. This, excuse me, is the one I was kind of talking about depth and seeing people's faces far away in perfect clarity. They remastered The Wizard of Oz. They remastered The Wizard of Oz on Blu-ray a few years before they released the 3D version. And I picked it up, and I thought it was pretty damn spectacular. Seeing a movie from is it the late 30s, early 40s? And seeing the clarity of, like, the Munchkins, the many of them as Dorothy's in the foreground, and you could look, 20 Munchkins back, and you could see the faces on them making expressions and laughing, and it was so clear. It was amazing to watch that on Blu-ray in 1080p and see what they could do. The crispness. You could see the makeup, on the Scarecrow. You could see where it's, when you watched it on television or on DVD, it just all looked like he was a scarecrow in a bag. But being in 1080p, you could see where the makeup starts and the makeup ends, and the fakeness of the hair and the beard and all of the lion. And they came out with the 3D version, and I remember when they announced it, a lot of people were like, why? Why are you converting this to 3D? And I do believe in ghosts. Hey, it fits! It finally fits the quote. I do believe in ghosts. I believe in ghosts. It fits. I think this came out around, I do believe it came out around the time the Titanic conversion was coming out, and the Jurassic Park around that time. So they were really taking their time and really putting their all into converting certain movies to make them look fantastic. And they did a wonderful job on this. It was kind of odd to think how it was going to look before I saw it, because I knew it was all shot on a set. You had the foreground plants and trees and set, or the cornfield, but the background was just a painted backdrop, of hills, or the castle, or something like that. It was just flat. And it was like, how is that going to look in 3D? Well, when they converted this, they even converted the backdrop. So those hills that are in the background have a separation from each hill. So there is a depth to that, which is pretty damn amazing. The clouds, the castle way in the back as they're, going past the poppies to get to the Emerald City. I say castle, the Emerald City. Just pretty damn amazing separation in this. It is amazing. I say amazing a bunch of times. They really did a great job on this. And like I said, when you watch the Munchkin scenes now, knowing that they were converted in 1080p from that other disc, and now that they made them three-dimensional, those Munchkins that are like 20 Munchkins back, there's a separation between each row of Munchkins, and they get smaller and smaller, but the clarity is still so crisp and clear on those ones way in the back. This is the one I always watch now. Every year I watch this movie at one time or another, and the 3D version is the one I always watch now. I really enjoyed this. I got the Steelbook, by the way. Yeah. I think it was a Best Buy exclusive. It comes with everything all the other discs came with. All the documentaries. I believe it even has put the tchotchkes back in here. It has that MGM documentary on here. If I'm not, I'm mistaken. I'm sorry. But it's a pretty damn heavy Steelbook for only 2 discs. They really used steel on that. A little bit of a disappointment. I really wish there was a way that they released a 3D version of the extended version of this movie, because the extended version is the preferred cut. It's a more violent, a more R-rated, if it isn't already R-rated cut. This is the Wolverine. Yeah. And I got the 3D version in a black case. And comes with 1, 2, 3, It comes with the 3D version of the theatrical cut, comes with the extended R-rated cut, and then a DVD version. But the R-rated cut is not in 3D, it's just flat, so it is what it is. Not a big fan of this film, really. I'm not. To be totally honest, I'm not a big fan of any of the X-Men films. Maybe the last two. The one where they're younger, whatever that was, the time travel where they're younger, and then the last one that was in 3D, First Order or something, not First Order. Again, you know, superhero movies with me, the Marvel movies, I have them, I got them, I watch them, but I'm not like, they're my life, they're my universe. I have other genres that I love, like horror movies and comedies and things like that I could talk for hours about. Marvel movies are just there. Although, you know, the television series, to me, like the Daredevil series, well, I'll just say that one. I love the Daredevil series. Because they have that 13-episode period to really develop all the characters and everything. But you know the Avengers and Thor and Captain America, they're fun, they're entertaining, but I'm not a diehard fan. I'm not, you know, like Gaga and I need to watch all 5 of them in a row before the next one comes out type of a guy. Although I love Guardians of the Galaxy and I loved Ant-Man. Those are probably my favorites, right up there on top of the Marvel films that I really love. This movie for a long time, long time, I refused to buy. Just because I was such a big fan of the book, of the novel, and all those wonderful chapters that I thought, as with a lot of other fans thought, would make an amazing mini-series, either on cable, definitely on cable, so it was unrated. And who did this? Was this Zack Snyder? No, directed by Mark Forster. But who produced this? Paramount, Mark Forster, Brad Pitt probably produced it, but we're talking World War Z. World War Z, yeah. I've grown to like it now. Again, another situation where the unrated version is in 2D. They didn't convert that. They only have the 3D conversion of the theatrical cut on here, which is okay. It's not spectacular. Let me tell you about World War Z. World War Z, like I said, the original novel you should watch. Or read, or you should get the audiobooks, which they have these wonderful audiobooks now, full books, with all these celebrities doing voices throughout each chapter, and they're brilliant. They're brilliant. Max Brooks, the original World War Z novelization, is fan-frickin-tastic. And when everybody heard that the movie was going to be made, a lot of people said, well, how are you going to put all that in a 2-hour movie? And then we heard Brad Pitt was involved, and it was like, yeah. And then we saw the trailers, and the trailers looked just ridiculous with all the running zombies running on top of each other and climbing mountains and grabbing helicopters, and it's like, oh, jeez, you know. And then there was that debate with the slow walking the zombies and the running zombies, and they're not zombies, they're infected like 28 days later. They're not Romero zombies, and oh, the zombie debate. Gosh, man. After I saw that, the first thing that popped in my head, the very first thing that popped in my head was, why did they have to why did they have to? They cashed in on the name World War Z. Take the novelization of World War Z, where each chapter is a different storyline that happens in the world, throughout the world. Make it a mini-series, like Band of Brothers. Have a little interview with some soldiers or characters at the beginning, and then go into their story, this fictional story narrative, and then end it with them talking a little bit since they survived. Then the next Band of Brothers, the Pacific, make it like World War Z. That's what I thought. When I saw the movie, I said, this storyline, even though they touch on bits of the novel, but the way the zombies were running, like a giant wave, they're all running and then they fall against a wall and they're crawling all over each other and then they run and it's just like a CGI special effect of a wave. And there's zombies crawling on top of zombies to get up top. I said, wouldn't it be cool if that was a remake of the 1950s movie Them, with giant ants? Or not necessarily giant ants, but human-sized ants, or insects of any kind. And what if the world was attacked by some giant insects, like Starship Troopers, or something like that? That, to me, made sense, that they're crawling over each other, especially ants, because if you watch those nature films of ants, they all crawl over each other and make like a bridge across each other to get to the other side. Zombies? Come on. No. And I know there's fans, and hey, you guys, you love it. That's cool. You love it. Nothing wrong with that, but still waiting for my miniseries, my Band of Brothers type World War Z miniseries. That's all I'll say. Well, this is in W, even though the precursor to this movie is in my C's. No, I'll keep them separate. I did not like Clash of the Titans. I love Harryhausen's final film much more better. Story-wise, acting-wise, special effect-wise, way too much CGI, and the 3D in Clash is just atrocious. When they did a sequel called Wrath of the Titans, which pretty cool lenticular cover there, I thoroughly enjoyed this, and for some reason, I really, really love this movie. And I thought, this makes much better of a sequel to the original Harryhausen film than it does a sequel to the bad CGI 3D one that they did. In fact, it even has, not Tic Tac. Tic Tac is from, TikTok is from Return to Oz. What's the owl? The mechanical owl. There's a scene in here where they come across the mechanical owl from the Harryhausen film. And that was just like, oh, there's your connection. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Even though we have different actors and it's 30 years later, it's just so much better. And I thought the storyline was better in here. I thought the effects are great. The 3D is much better in here. That giant fire-throwing boulder creature monster at the end is horrifying, I thought. Yeah, I really like Wrath of the Titans. No apologies to those people that thought it was trash. I love the damn thing. Very boring disc. Very boring discs. But they're there. What is this, Universal? Warner Brothers. Yeah. Very boring discs. But I really enjoyed it. Again, I thought the 3D presentation in this is pretty adequate, pretty good, very entertaining. You're watching 3D when you watch that. This was fun. This was a sight unseen. This was one of those, again, a Disney, where it's like, well, they're doing an ultimate collection. I'm going to pick it up. Sight unseen, because I know it's going to become a collectible. Not that I'm going to be selling anything off anytime soon, but it's just that it's the collectible ultimate edition that's going to have all the special features, all the different versions, the DVD, the digital, the Blu-ray 3D, everything. And I really love John C. Reilly. He's Dr. Steve Brule, man. Look up Dr. Steve. I think I always say this when I bring up John C. Reilly. His best character of all time is Dr. Steve Brule. Just look him up on YouTube. Do Dr. Steve Brule. B-R-U-E-L or B-R-U-L-E. I think it's E-L. Genius. Genius, genius, genius. Anyway, we're talking about Wreck-It Ralph. Kind of a cool lenticular. Sarah Silverman, too. I'm a big fan of her show. And some of her movies. What was the last one she did? It was very depressing. Very, extremely depressing movie. But she was fantastic in it. She is another one of those talents that can do goofy, quirky, weird, bathroom humor, and then she could be just so adorable and sometimes just very depressing and sad. And anyway, she's adequate in this. This is all right. Wreck-It Ralph's a fun little movie. You know, it isn't my favorite, you know, Pixar or anything. Is this stacked? Yeah, they stacked the discs on there. You know, Blu-ray, DVD, and 3D Blu-ray. With an ad for planes. That damn trailer I was so sick of hearing every time. Wreck-It Ralph is kind of cool, has its moments. You know, it's not Pixar, is it? No, it's Disney. It's just basic Disney. But yeah, it's all right. The 3D, even though it's 2.35, it's not a full screen presentation, makes it suffer, you know, but there's some depth in there. I think during the sci-fi action scene, there's a couple pop-outs. I don't remember too many pop-outs in here. But yeah, Wreck-It Ralph, it's in my collection. Another hefty Disney, you know, when they cared. Wow, Sarah Silverman, what was it? Brian Pilson? Is that his name? And who's the one that did the boxy robot movie? The two, they look like rockers. Well, they are rockers and they're gay and that. If you haven't ever seen the Sarah Silverman program, it's called Program, not show. The Sarah Silverman program. I believe there's 3, maybe 4 seasons. They're out on DVD. You might be able to get the whole complete series, which I have on DVD, for $20. Pick it up. It's hilarious. It's so well written, so well put together. So many great character actors make appearances, like Christopher Eccleston playing a very Doctor Who-like character in there. Sarah Silverman program. And Dr. Steve Brule. Look up Dr. Steve Brule, and when you watch him, think public access television. Dr. Steve Brule, just to give a little sidebar, Judge, all right, make it quick, all right, origined from the Tim and Eric Show. And if you don't know what the Tim and Eric Show, that's a whole nother ball of wax you got to open up if you're looking for some craziness. Zach Galifianakis came from there, and Better Call Saul, what's his name? He came from there, and although he did Mr. Show in that, but yeah, the Tim and Eric Show spawned this character called Dr. Steve Brule, or not spawned him, but premiered the Dr. Steve Brule character that John C. Reilly plays. And you can get just a DVD of the entire everything of Dr. Steve Brule. It's probably out of print now, but he's all over YouTube, so look for that, and just be ready for some really bad, like VHS type copies of public access shows from the 80s. It's just so great. Oh, I love it. Here's the X-Men movie I was telling you guys about. This was the other one. What was the first one called? I can't, again, like I said, I'm not an X-Men fan, so I can't think. First Order, First Contact, First something. The First Avengers. But this one is Days of Future Past, which is a pretty damn cool flick in 3D. The 3D is pretty adequate, especially with Quicksilver. The highlight of this movie is the Quicksilver scene with that awesome song and seeing him do things, and all the water and all the things that he's doing is coming out of the screen. It's really, really cool. The movie itself is pretty decent. Like I said, I'm not an X-Men fan. I've seen all the movies. But I really kind of liked these last two. So even though I heard some really, really, really bad stuff about X-Men Apocalypse, Armageddon, whatever the new one is that just came out. I'm a fan of these first two ones where they're the younger characters. But yeah, so I got that. Wasn't going to buy this. Really wasn't. There was a period where I was like, you know, I got enough family films. I got enough. But boy, almost every family film they do is in 3D. And I've still, if you notice, I don't have the Smurfs. But I've been reading a lot on the Bluray3D.com forums that the Smurfs is a very, very good 3D Blu-ray to pick up with lots of cool pop-ups and stuff. So it's on my waiting to buy list. Probably when the price comes a little bit down. Although it is only like 12 bucks now. So I'll probably be picking that up just because I love good 3D. I love good depth. I love pop-ups, pop-outs. And this was one, like I said, that I heard about when they were doing, and I was like, no, I'm not going to buy it. But it came down to like 10 bucks, and I picked it up. And it's Yogi Bear. Hey, hey, boo-boo. Give me that picnic basket, Mr. Ranger, sir. Yeah, it is what it is. That's all I'll say. Live action mixed with CGI characters, and although there are quite a few, not a whole lot, not the whole movie, but quite a few really good pop-out effects in this movie, and it's fun. It's fun. You know, it's a fun family film, so it's in the old collection. And would you believe, Chief, this is the last 3D movie in my collection. I know there's another one out that I have not picked up, and I do believe it is in 3D. But I heard fantastic things about this. I had to import this, and I don't know if I imported this. Well, it's all Asian, so I must have got this from Yes Asia. I'm sure I got this from Yes Asia. Let me take a little peek, a sidebar peek here in one of my little saved areas. And give you the name. There it is. The Taking of Tiger Mountain. I have not yet picked up, which is on my to pick up list. Which is another Asian film, I believe, by Tsu Hark. This is, I believe, Tsu Hark, although it's all in Asia characters, so I can't tell you if he directed this. But this is in the Z's. Well, actually, it's in the Y's, Yogi Bear. This is Young Detective Dee, The Rise of the Sea Dragon, or Dragons. And it's in 3D. It's an Asian flick. I believe it's from Tsu Hark. The 3D is pretty damn, again, spectacular in this. The ships and the dragon jumping out, and it's got English subtitles that come out, and they do sometimes distract from the 3D image because you want to read, and then your focal point is going wacky. 2-disc set. Yeah, I imported this from Yes Asia, just like I want to import the Tiger Mountain one, which I haven't saved up for yet. But I really enjoyed this one. This one was a lot of fun. And I believe there's maybe 2 other Young Detective Dee movies that weren't done in 3D. I think it was only one that came before this one. This one and then the other one has been done in 3D. But yeah, so love it. Import it, get it for your collection. A lot of great action, martial arts, special effects. The pile's gone. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. Yeah, folks. Yeah, let me do a quick little peek here at something. Open this program up. This is a special day, I would have to say, because this is the final video of every Blu-ray that I have in my collection. I do have a few more. I have picked up within the past couple of weeks a couple other movies, but I'm not going to show them off. I'm not going to do a pickup video until the end of the next quarter, which would be, let's see, probably around September. September? Maybe sooner than September. I'll talk about those movies that I picked up for my collection. But as it stands right now, I have 1,564 Blu-rays in my collection. 1564, which is pretty damn big. I'm looking at my DVD profiler, which you could also add Blu-rays. And those are all Blu-rays. Although, to be honest, see, like when the Bad Boys 1 and 2 collection, that's only counted once. And when the Die Hard collection or Poltergeist collection, it's only counted once for one movie. So I have more than 1,564. So let's just round it all up and say I have 1,600 Blu-rays right there, from ceiling to floor. 3D and regular Blu-ray. That is the total amount of my entire Blu-ray collection. I've said that already, and I'm saying it again. That's the total amount. So, 1,700? Did I say 1,600? I rounded it off. Didn't I round it off to 1,700? 1,700! 1,700 terrible Maxwell Smart Blu-rays. Yeah, oh, Roger D., you've been through it from the beginning, the A's of defending my collection, all the way to the Z's, and then in series 2 of the 3D collection, you've been through the A's all the way through to the Z's of the 3D Blu-rays. So there you go, 1,700 movies, rounded off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being there through every single video. Thanks for listening for those of you who, which I know sometimes don't watch, but put it on and do other things, you know, errands or cleaning their house and just listen. So thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this series, these series. I hope you've gotten lots of ideas for movies that you might want to watch or add in your collection. Yeah, no special ending. This is it. It's we're done. You know, ooh, ee. I'm actually looking. Those are Tron 3D. Oh, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll show you off my Viewmaster collection. Maybe that'll be a addendum. Maybe, because the next one's going to be kind of like a epilogue video where I have an idea that I'm going to do, and then maybe I'll do a final addendum where I go through all my Viewmasters, or maybe that'll just be a separate collectible type video, what I have in my Viewmaster collection. But it does deal with 3D, so I think it might fit right in there with all this. Yeah, it's been a long road, man. Girls, man, people, viewers. Yeah, it's been subs. It's been a long, long road. Long and winding road. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, and like I kind of had flirted in various videos that I think I'll do eventually, not right away, but eventually I'll probably end up doing a series 3 of defending my collection, where I will be going through what movies I have left in my DVD collection. Because I know when Blu-ray had started back in 2000, I sold off just about all. I probably had about the same amount, if not more, of DVDs. and I sold them all off thinking they're all going to come out on Blu-ray, except I saved like a few hundred, thinking they're never going to release this. They're never going to release that. Or in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to get rid of this yet because I love this movie so much that I'm just going to hang on to it because I want to watch it again. And I'm not just going to look for a copy. I'm going to actually watch this movie again a few times. So things like Dead and Breakfast or Living in Oblivion, which just got a Blu-ray release, surprisingly, or Commitments, which is just getting a Blu-ray release finally. Although I got this big mega set for the Commitments that came with a soundtrack and everything, and I'll probably just hang on to that because the Blu-ray version is just going to have the movie. It's not going to have all those extras. So, you know, I still got quite a bit, and then there's a bunch of television series I have. You know, Addams Family, Munsters, Gilligan, Sarah Silverman, you know, things like that. The Monkees. Although the Monkees, I heard the Monkees is being remastered for Blu-ray. I heard that's supposed to come out either the end of this year or next year. I thought I remember seeing a post somewhere where they showed what it looks like and how they remastered it, like a before-after thing. And the entire Monkees, the 2 seasons, are supposed to be remastered for Blu-ray. Hopefully they'll be open matted and you'll be able to see the full screen like they did with 70s Show and The Wire and things like that. But yeah, so anyway, I'm just rambling here because I got nothing else to say. How we doing there? We're about 1 hour, 11 minutes. Yeah, so folks, don't be sad. There'll be more coming. And then I'll continue on with some IMO reviews and some What's Roger Doing or What's Roger Watching videos. One of these days I'll get back to Sunday shout-outs. I've just been such a lazy ass lately. I really have. I just don't feel it. Maybe because summer's coming and spring and I just want to come home and open the windows and sit back on the couch and watch TV. That, you know. But hopefully I'll do another Out and About. I still have a promise that I want to get together with Falagar, Sammy, and do an Out and About. That should be coming soon. I have a promissory that in the future, Harsh Arse and I are going to start doing some live telecast or live chats on Doctor Who, going through each season and talking about favorite episodes and companions and things like that. And then there was also talk about when the next series starts, we'll do a weekly review of each show. So to those Doctor Who fans, that is upcoming plan. And then, yeah, whatever else I decide to do, you know, I of course, if bad things happen in my life, I'll end up doing a vlog and crying to you people about it. Which is kind of embarrassing. And I'm always flirting. It's like, should I just delete those videos? And it's like, no, just leave them up there. And that's part of my life. And in the future, when I'm gone, you know, I have people out there that might want to look back and see that. So, and then there's always collectibles that I can show off, that I want to show off, that I have. Lots and lots of collectibles. And I was looking here, I found a list of back a year ago when I was doing my What's in the Box videos. I have a list of people and things that people wanted from those boxes that I have yet to send out because I got broke all of a sudden due to car issues and could not package them and could not send them out. But I still have your names and what you wanted, and the boxes are still full back there. So one of these days, Skin Slip and Hey Eric, it's the internet. Hey Internet, it's the Eric or Cracker. You guys, you'll get your stuff. You will all get your stuff. It's all in the future, whenever that comes around. But I'm probably going to do a special video, maybe not a real special video, but a pseudo-special video. I'm just about coming up on 300,000 views on my channel. I just went over 500 subscribers, which I wasn't going to say to anybody, but I just don't want no fanfare. I'm not planning on doing a contest, you know, and Oh, I want to shout out to Skinslip, who just went over 1,000 subscribers. And I want to shout out to, I was going to say, oh, come on, what's his name? Durant Cinema. I'm so sorry. Durant Cinema. Congratulations on your 1,000 subscribers. But I'm not planning on doing any kind of a contest or anything like that. Plus, let me just tell you, 300,000 views, 500 subscribers. As of May 22nd is my 1-year anniversary of doing YouTube regularly. Starting the channel, turning my channel from Roger Domian into channel Donstar. I've been here for a year, and I've gotten 500 subscribers, which is pretty damn cool in a year, I thought. And on the 24th of May will be my 10-year reunion, my 10 years on YouTube itself, because I joined YouTube 10 years ago on the 23rd, and it was basically just to throw up my old home movies for my family and such and friends. And that was around the time we were making On the Down Low, and I was putting up all the videos for On the Down Low, the trailers, the DVD release parties, the behind the scenes stuff, and that's been up there for almost, well, over 10 years now. And that has always been up there. So there's a 10-year anniversary coming up and a 1-year anniversary of Channel Donstar coming up next week, this weekend, the 22nd and the 23rd. So I got that to look forward to. Plus there's a 300,000 view, anniversary, and a 500 subscriber anniversary, 500 plus. And yeah, so let me just right now, because like I said, I'm not planning on doing any contests. I'm not planning on giving anything away. I just wanted to say that, and I'll probably talk more about it on the anniversary video. That I'll do something for my anniversary video. But I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers, all the past subscribers, my family and friends who joined me 10 years ago, my 30-some subscribers, and then all the subscribers I gained since I changed and named myself Channel Donstar 1 year ago, and gained those other 480 subscribers. Thank you. That's really kind of cool. But yeah, I just feel like talking. So I wasn't going to go on to this tangent, but I did, and so there it is. But we are done with the Defending My Collection videos until Season 3, unless it goes on hiatus. Dun, dun, dun! No, I'll definitely do a Season 3 where I go through the DVDs, because I got some pretty obscure movies. Like one I just reviewed recently, Crazy Love, which everybody should see, man. And things like Taxidermia, which everybody should see. Well, maybe not everybody. That's kind of a crazy-ass movie. But I got lots of very obscure and bizarre DVDs that I'd like to talk about. So those will be coming in the future, as well as all my other little regular videos and whatever new things I can come up and think about. So hopefully I'll be back in a week or so, or in a couple days. But since this is the final Defending, I'm just kind of wrapping it up, or wrapping it up in a little bow, and saying thank you for watching. New subscribers, if you've enjoyed this video or any of my videos, please subscribe, share, like, and continue to watch in the future. And to those subscribers who are watching this and always watch, thanks again very much for being a friend and being a subscriber and conversing with me offline and online in the messages. I really appreciate that. And we'll see you in the next video. All right, all Roger D for Channel Donstar. Everybody have a great day. Happy birthday if today's your birthday. Bye-bye.